Now, one of the things that we are seeing coming from the president or the newly elected president, Mr. Donald Trump, coming from US to the businesses all over the world, including NIO and other Chinese EV makers, is said if they go and make their products, their vehicles in America, they will have the lowest taxes of any nations on earth. So if the NIO goes and build a factory and start building their cars in the US, President Donald Trump is guaranteeing that they will get the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. But if they don't do that, or if they don't produce or make their cars in the US, they are going to have to pay a tariff. But he did not say how much. Now, I mean, have a look at this video before we take it further.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt.
So yeah, this is what he is saying. This is pretty good news, I think, to the new investors. This is pretty interesting because right now it looks like Donald Trump is willing to negotiate, especially with China. And apparently after that interview on a video, he came and said, we have a one big power over China, and that's tariff. And they don't want them. And I'd rather not have to use it. I mean, on China, right? Meaning that he does not want to hurt China, unlike the Biden administration that was just heavy on tariffs, that made it clear that they don't want Chinese EV makers because of the tariff, 100% tariff they increase on Chinese EV makers because of the software operating systems on the car. That those that are using Chinese cars with, of course, Chinese operating system cockpits, they will have to obviously probably sell their cars. I don't know, but with Trump, it is a different story. We are hearing him saying, look, the US and China can give the world peace. The US and China can do much greater things. And they've been apparently talking. I think this week they've called each other twice, which is something that shows progress, which is something that will improve the relations between the US and China. And that, as a result, is going to favor, of course, the Chinese EV makers like NIO, because you will know that NIO, right now, they are in San Francisco, San Jose, where they've got offices and they've been recruiting, hiring people, building a big team there. And it shows, or it's signaling that very soon we might start seeing NIO selling their cars in, of course, the US, which is something that is great, something that is very, very exciting. I mean, Trump in the past years, he has said that obviously if they don't produce their cars locally, or the EV makers don't produce their cars locally in the US, then he would have to impose 100% tariff onto them, which right now, the way he's talking, it looks like he's talking about a bit calm, meaning that he might, even if they import their cars, it might not be as aggressive, because what President Trump wants, it's peace. What President Trump wants, it's China and the US to work or to have a better relationship, which is something that as investors we want to see. I mean, this is one thing that led into the NIO Hong Kong shares to spike, because you will notice that it started on a red, but after the announcement, or after we saw these videos, it NIO ended the day on a green, which is something that obviously it's great news. It's important, especially to Chinese EV makers like NIO, Lioro, Xiaomi, and the others, BYD. They need to know this, but I think it might not be as difficult for NIO right now to penetrate the US market, based off what we are hearing or the comments coming from the newly elected president, Mr. Donald Trump, which is going to take us to the moon, I believe. I mean, you will know that the time that NIO hit $66.99, it was an era of Donald Trump. And therefore, I believe that even if we don't get that $66.99 within these 4 years, I personally believe that one way or the other, Chinese equities are going to recover. Those that are owning Chinese equities are going to be rewarded. And I must say, this really excites me as the NIO investor. I mean, like I said, he has said quite a number of things He has spoken about some of the recent developments of the two calls that they made with the Chinese President Mr. Xi Jinping, which is just good news. They want to make a world a better place. They want peace. They don't want World War III. All of them, which therefore we know that it's going to benefit everyone. It's going to be a win-win situation for both the US and China. I mean, one thing or somebody that, of course, it's also maybe sort of like making President Trump to not be as aggressive onto China. It has to be Elon Musk, because like we know, Elon Musk right now is very close to Trump, and therefore, with that being said, Tesla in terms of sales is generating some pretty good decent figures. I think China's market, it's giving Tesla 30% of the total sales they're generating globally, which means that China is very important to Tesla. And knowing that CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, is, of course, has got a good relationship, he's closer to the US president, he would not want to, obviously, President Trump to make the situation worse, because it will end up hurting him. It will end up hurting Tesla. It will end up hurting the business, which it is good. It is that for that reason that I think we need to brace ourselves for what's coming. And who knows, before the end of this year, NIO penetrates the US market, which will be so good, so exciting. I mean, like I said, last week we saw on LinkedIn, NIO advertising quite a number of posts to those that might be interested in wanting to join the NIO in the US. And they were hiring in San Francisco, they were hiring in San Jose, and all this just shows that they are getting ready. They are getting ready to penetrate the US market, and it will be so great. I mean, NIO has got quite a huge followers in the US, and therefore those that can, or those that will be able to afford NIO cars on Firefly, they are definitely going to buy those cars when they hit the streets of US, which is something that I look forward to. So yeah, man, this is what we read today. This is what we got from Donald Trump. This is the message to all the companies globally, including Chinese EV makers, NIO, Lioro, and all the others, to say that if they want to sell, have their own factories in the US, building their cars there, the taxes are going to be so low, in a way that he's made it very clear that it will be the lowest taxes that they will ever get globally. He will make sure of that. Secondly, if they are now importing from their countries into the US, they will have to pay a tariff. He said that, but the way he's talking, like I said, is not as aggressive than the statement he made during the campaign about the 100% tariff, which we'll wait, we'll see how things unfold. So tell me what you think about this, man. I think blue sky is coming. Those that are persevering throughout the headwinds, the share price will most definitely be rewarded with time. I am happy, I am excited, and I thought I'd give you these latest developments coming from the President Donald Trump about the comments which he made, in fact, today, that have an impact, or that are very important to Chinese EV makers like NIO. This is good news. This is exciting. I'll see you on my next video, man. Do your own due diligence. These are just my opinions, and God bless you all.